Welcome, dear friends, for another study here at Kardec Radio in collaboration with the Spirit Society of Richmond. Welcome. Today we have another article from the Spiritist magazine. And this article is from issue 56 of the Spiritist magazine titled Perispirit and Diseases. As you know, in Spiritism, the good spirits have brought to our attention and knowledge through the works of Kardec, André Luiz, and Emmanuel, for example, especially in the book Genesis by Kardec, that you and I are immortal beings living this physical existence on the earth. And around our spirit, there is a spiritual body that we also call perispirit, around the spirit, that is then connected to the physical body that you and I inhabit today. So the spiritual friends that are around us, our mentors and guides, do not have a physical body, but they also have a perispiritual body. We also know that this perispirit is made of the molecules and the substances present in the environment of the world that spirit is inhabiting at that time. How do I know that? It's all in the book Genesis by Allan Kardec, through, of course, the superior spirits giving him that information through the different mediums. So therefore, today, the psychologist Claudio Sinotti is bringing to you and I a conversation about the perispirit and diseases, as we are in the middle of the pandemic still. And if you're watching this on demand later, perhaps we have a different set of challenges as human beings in the different times of the earth. Nevertheless, is there a connection between perispirit and diseases? So let's see. Here we have, if you visit the website spiritistmagazine.org, you are able to download all of the PDF files for the Spiritist magazine since its inception 13 years ago. The Spiritist magazine is a work that seeks to bring to you and I a continuation of the conversation and studies that Allan Kardec started in his time. So this is the beautiful cover of the Spiritist magazine, issue 56. If you were to browse through the magazine, you would find towards the end, you would find many, many different articles that is of interest to you and I. However, today we're going to be focusing on, this is the article we talked about last week, so make sure to check out that one about the works of the Christ in the world. And this is the article we're going to be talking about today as well. So if you were to visit spiritistmagazine.org, I have to remind you that you can download the app for the Spiritist magazine free of charge so that you can read all of the issues of the magazine in your phone at your own convenience. So without further delay, what does Claudio Sinotti has to talk about? Perispirits and diseases. As you see, I am actually sharing with you my screen, my PDF file, so that you can see how easy it is for you to do this at your own home, at your own studies, at your own gospel at home, so on and so forth. He writes, Throughout history, the human being has always sought formulas to increase longevity and eradicate diseases. And the increase in the lifespan of the population seems to point to a relative success in that search. We are always trying to improve ourselves, to understand our physical body, our emotional state, our psychological state. And then we have, throughout time, eradicated diseases, work in our medical system, produce better treatments, vaccines, better hospitals, public health measures, cleanliness, so on and so forth. So we are always improving. Remember, the law of progress applies to all beings in the entire universe. He says relative success because we have not managed to eliminate the diseases from human experience, right? We are even the people who have been healed by the Master himself still perished. No matter how much we postpone death, it continues to be the inexorable truth of the biological reality of the being. Your physical body is finite. Your spirit is immortal. For this very reason, it's important to deepen the understanding of the binomial health versus illness beyond this physical reality. Wow. Have you thought about how many other lifetimes we have experienced? What kind of illnesses, diseases we have then had, either succumbed to, perished from, or recovered from. And from that learning experience, that experience is brought to us today in the way that we know how to relate to one another, how to care for one another. When we go to the physician, they have treatments. When we go to a healthcare setting, the nurses lovingly care for you 24/7. So that's, yet, even if they took care of you then, the biological reality is that we can postpone the death of the physical body, but we're still going to perish somehow, because that's our biological reality. I mean, when I say somehow, I mean of some sort of disease that is unique to you and I, right? Not all discarnations are the same, and not all diseases have the same processes, even in the physiological, physical reality point of view. As an immortal spirit that you are, it's necessary to remember the trajectory so that we do not repeat the mistakes of the past and improve the qualities we developed. So we want today to commit to a better us, analyzing the mistakes, the things that we do so very often, our pattern, so that we can improve the good and slowly leave behind what is still lacking in goodness within ourselves. The perispirit is the intermediate body between spirit and matter, acts as a memory that we carry from the journey taken in many lifetimes ago, presenting limits, possibilities, and predispositions that imprint onto the body important characteristics for our learning. What a blessing. The perispirit not only relay the commands of our spiritual mind from the spirit to the physical body. That's how you and I are able to move. Our spirit mind commands the cells of the perispiritual body that then command the cells of the physical body. But it has memory. That's where the perispirit stores everything that you and I have done, experienced. And that's how we improve from lifetime to lifetime. If you want a deeper understanding of this process, you can search in the YouTube channels for the playlist of the book Evolution in Two Worlds by the Spirit André Luiz through the mediumship of Francisco Cândido Xavier. That study is at Kardec Radio. There's a beautiful understanding there of illnesses and perispirit. In the second part of the Spirit's book, that book on the second part of the Evolution in Two Worlds book, the two last chapters, and there's a couple of chapters in the beginning that talks about our minds and the control of the physical body for the mind. So the perispirit has that memory and then presents limits, possibilities, and predisposition. Does that mean we're predestined to have an illness, a possibility, a predisposition? No. But it's still there, the predisposition in there, and the possibilities, even the possibilities of learning. Because if we are experiencing now some illness, some lack, some challenges in our physical health, that's because now we are able to undergo that experience. We are strong enough with the support that we need in order to be able to have that experience. Because being ill is not easy, dear friends. But we must remember that it does not act like the mills of fate presenting inexorable realities, but as a mediator. So let's see how the perispirit mediates those processes. Certain illnesses, according to the Spiritist view, may be impelled by past predispositions when we unbalance our vital centers through the wrong choices. That's what the predisposition is. If we are able to align our actions, our thoughts, our emotions, and our feelings with the divine laws, we're more likely to make a better choice versus a wrong choice. So when we unbalance those vital centers, then certain illnesses may come to fruition. Our genetic code works as a selective process of the spiritual needs of the being. The blessed genetic code that you and I received from our parents, and that's what the command is about, right? Honor our parents. Which, depending on the way he, the spirit, or she conducts himself or herself in the current existence, the genetic code will activate or not certain predispositions. So that's the way you and I conduct ourselves. What kind of vibrational feelings, what kind of imprint are we living in the world? In the book Calmness, Emmanuel tells us that our voice, for example, is our sound portrait. What we say, how we say, how loud, how low. He even says that shouting is a mental stone, for example. So our conduct, from what you think to what you do, which means what you speak, how you act, what you choose not to do, your conduct today activates or not disposition for certain illnesses. In some cases, considered as expiations, the law seems to act in an inexorable way. Sometimes we need to undergo certain experiences to expiate the wrongs. That doesn't mean we are cursed. It just means that we need to have that experience in order to cleanse the spiritual knots that form in the perispiritual body due to the guilt and shame of our actions in the past. That is in the book Evolution in Two Worlds by André Luiz. Even so, depending on the way the being conducts its current existence, even certain conditions may be attenuated. Even though our perispiritual memory may have the predisposition for an illness or disease X, the way we are conducted can give us an attenuation of that experience. So if you choose to donate the resources you have today, not only physical resources such as money, but also our time, not hoarding the resources of the world only to ourselves and our family members. When we donate and go help the homeless, help the sick, regardless if it's cold, hot, or rainy outside, leaving behind the conveniences of our own self-care and entertainment, maybe, perhaps, depending on your plan. In the grace of God, certain conditions may be attenuated. if not eliminated, depending on the case. So each and every case is one. Go to the book Missionaries of the Light by André Luiz, where he describes the calculations and the plannings that work in the spiritual realm in order for that physical body and the choosing of the right genetic code for that person goes. That's exemplified on the reincarnation of Sigismundo case. We must remember that we interact all the time with the spiritual reality. You're never alone. When you're here watching, the spirits are watching as well, the ones that are interested in learning. Whenever you are out in the world, whatever you like to do, whatever you choose to do, spirits of like-minded predispositions are with you. So we are always interacting with our spiritual reality, whether our spirit mind, the command in the perispirit that commands the physical body, or our interaction between beings incarnated or discarnated around us. That is why the perispirit, as well as bringing information from the past, stores the current information, which will serve as memory for our future experiences. So he remembers what we did, stores it so that we can experience things. Those things can be attenuated or eliminated depending on how we act, how we conduct ourselves today. And then what you do today gets stored for the experience of your future lifetime when we are granted by God the possibilities of becoming, of returning to the physical realm, if that's what our plan is. The important thing is to have the healthiest life possible. How? In the body, nutrition, exercise, sleep, watching what we talk about, watching what we watch, what kind of programs we tune into, what kind of radio programs, TV programs, streaming programs, in the emotions, how we deal with our emotions, how we go about our day managing that emotion in the mind and in the spirit. So you are multidimensional. So to have the healthiest life includes all of these dimensions. Seeking help from a physician, a nurse practitioner, or a PA, a physician assistant when you are ill, taking the medicine, taking the vaccines, taking the medications developed by the different companies, good nutrition, exercise, sleep, volunteering, maybe working with a psychologist if there's trauma and emotions to work with, feeding your spiritual body and soul by listening to cardiac radio, and choosing well the time we're left on the earth. Because in that way, we will be providing our spiritual body with information and characteristics that will help us activate the plenitude that is reserved for everyone. Dear friends, the divine providence has infinite resources. That's in the book Genesis. I believe chapter 3. God, about God. Divine providence is abundant. The entire universe is bathed, immersed in God's love and its resources. It's up to you and I to tap into those resources by making good choices, commitments to spreading the good news, to living the good news of the Christ in our lives, leaving the old, selfish, proud man or woman behind and birthing the new one, the new being today. As we grow and as we experience the challenges of being incarnated in these times of transition from a world of trials and expiations to a world of regeneration. So I also encourage that you go to the book Gospel According to Spiritism, and you go to the chapter that talks about the different worlds, and you're gonna explain a lot of the things that you and I are experiencing today in humanity in general, and what kind of challenges we may have, and we're still in a world of trials and expiations in transition to a world of regeneration. Where is this article from? Spiritist Magazine issue 56, however, is reproduced from the excellent Journal of Psychological Studies. More issues and information. I'll make sure. Oops, it opened. It opened for the articles. Here you go. So you can download all of those in this page here. I'll make sure it's there for you when we post this so that you can go to this article and be able to open and read many other ones as well. Claudio Sinotti is a psychologist in Brazil. He leads the works of Joana de Angelis with his wife, Iris Sinotti. And those were the books psychographed by Divaldo Franco with authorship of Joana de Angelis. What a blessing, dear friends, to be with you today as always. We encourage you to stay well, to stay safe, to visit the spiritistmagazine.org. Here, we're going to put it down here. If you have any questions, you have any comments, if you have a talent you'd like to donate, reach out to spiritistmagazine@gmail.com. The editor-in-chief, Vanessa Anceloni, will, with the guidance, of course, we are here under the guidance of the good spirits, guide you through the process of volunteering with the Spiritist Magazine. Spread the good, stay well, stay safe, and until next time, we wish you many, many blessings. Have a blessed day, friends.